Bunch of losers, big and small. turning it up, up. They say we'll never make it all the way, but these dreams we have are made to stay. We'll be trying to chase us down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You and I live running with the wind, sneaking out in the night while the others wander around, shooting bottle rockets and climbing up the ridge where the time would stop. We were just kids, kids. We were just kids, kids. Make me a brother with blood, blood. Through all the places we run, run, and live forever we owe. They say we're young and this will fade in time, but believing is a state of mind. They'll be trying to chase us down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You and I live dancing on the bridge, and we hide in Europe, never tell them what we did. Taking one another, we're taking is forbid, 'cause we didn't take that. We were just kids, kids. And we were just kids, kids. Everybody's gotta talk, everybody's got a reason. Everybody's gotta talk, everybody's got a reason. Say, let them say what they want. This thing has only begun, gone. Not all the good will die young. You and I live laughing by the rivers, checking you out while you were jumping in, racing one another till everybody wins and the time would stop. We were just kids, kids. We were just kids, kids. We were just 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 kids.
Hello, welcome everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnarton.com. For all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is a Tuesday, August 8, 2023. So, quick programming note regarding today's show. So, one of our guests is not here, not going to be here. In the first hour, we did have scheduled journalist Bob Hennelly. He's a media guy from New York, and he hosts a show actually on WBAI. A big talk radio station in New York City. Bob was going to be with us today via Skype, but something has come up. He's got, there's a nurses strike apparently that he is covering, and he's in the thick of it there. So he let Jenny know he's not going to be able to make it on today. After all, he did apologize, and we will rebook him, of course, because I was really looking forward to speaking with him. So kind of a bummer, but you know, there's always a million other things we can do. There's always plenty going on in the news and so forth. So Bob Hennelly will not be able to be here with us today, unfortunately, but he will reschedule. So Really, I am looking forward to speaking with him in the future. We do have, however, in the second hour, our musical guest today is the band Best Not Broken. That song you just heard, Kids, which is super catchy. That actually all their stuff is, to be honest with you. So I'm really looking forward to meeting these guys. They're going to come in live in studio in the second hour of today's show. Best Not Broken. We'll play some more of their music. We'll talk with those guys, get to know them. Really looking forward to that. And of course, before that, to open the show, we played a little Jerry and the Scumbags, the new single, Hipster Dipster. We've played that a few times on the show. It's burning up the charts. Burning up the charts. Dylan Reynolds is in the Facebook live chat and says, this song is great. I love Jerry. Oh, we all love Jerry. Absolutely. Well, I know one person who doesn't, but the rest of us do. So that guy, what a talent he is, you know. And by the way, if he ever decides to leave music behind and get back into podcasting, I think he could be the next Howard Stern, the next rated R comedy star. Okay, that's a little inside, but it doesn't matter. And the point is, we love Jerry Robinson. And we love Best Not Broken. Best Not Broken will be here in the second hour of today's program. In the meantime, we'll see what other kinds of trouble and shenanigans, I always stumble on that word, we can get into today. Oh, Jenny points out regarding Jerry Robinson, I'm the T-shirt girl, just saying. Yes, you were given that. And I, of course, am the, what's the name of my title for Jerry's Rock and Roll Army? Commander to the Supreme Leader of Jerry's Rock and Roll Army, which is very prestigious. You know, I never really thought of myself as a military man until I received that particular invitation. And I said, that's an army I'd really like to be a part of. So far, I haven't had to do anything, and it's great. I love being part of Jerry Robinson's Rock and Roll Army. And, of course, Commander to the Supreme Leader. It just sounds, you know, it sounds powerful, and that's what I like. All right. Anyway, 603-250-6007. The studio line is open. Oh, and we already have a call. We'll see who's on the line here. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hello, Matt. So this is Jerry Robinson.
Oh my goodness, Jerry Robinson. I was just talking about you.
I know. I love tuning in to, of course, my favorite Commander to the Supreme Leader's radio show. It's quite fantastic.
Thank you. It's quite fantastic to be the commander to the Supreme Leader.
And I really appreciate that, Matt. So listen, I'm so elated that Jenny took my offer to be a T-shirt girl to the Supreme Leader of rock and roll. That just made my whole week when she accepted that.
Yes. It didn't take her long to decide to accept your offer. She was very, very excited.
Yes, it's been very good. I just wanted to give you some updates on the music, of course.
Yes, please.
So, you know, I know we all got together, but and we got some files that are being sent. I still got to do some stuff in Studio D, of course, the largest, greatest studio. It's got the greatest girth, of course.
It's the best studio, yes.
I'm working on a song right now. It is called Selfish, Self-Centered, and Self-Absorbed.
Uh-huh.
And I'm also working on one called Riding the Unicycle with No Seat Down the Bumpy Road of Life.
Boy, that's a wordy, that's a very wordy title. Will any of that be in parentheses?
Yeah, some of it will,
okay.
Especially one called You're Just a Squirrel, and then in parentheses, Trying to Get a Nut in My World.
I've heard that somewhere. Yes, that sounds great.
I know. I just, you know, I think it's something that I mentioned in one of my previous videos, of course.
Probably.
But, you know, it's just been great. How have you been this week so far, Matt? So,
well, it's early. It's only Tuesday, so you know a lot can yet go wrong. But we hope for the best, and we soldier on. Soldier, as in, of course, you know, Jerry's Rock and Roll Army. But yes, so far so good, sir.
Oh, thank you. That's great. That's great to hear. I hope I see Jenny's not in studio today, but I hope that she is doing well, of course, and you know all the great members of our band. You know, yourself. You know, Billy Painter, Alan Petcher. But you know, I just wanted to call, give you some updates. I also really appreciate you playing our song "Hipster Dipster." By the way, which is for free on my Bandcamp page. If you look up Jerry and the Scumbags. It is for free on a free download. You can download that plus our great single, I'm the Man.
Yes, and Hipster Dipster, it's burning up the charts. I
really appreciate that.
I saw a chart here somewhere. Anyway, yes.
Yeah, it's somewhere, it's going to go platinum somewhere, probably in like that, I don't know, like Bosnia, Algeria. We got some connections over in that area of the world. But
yes,
I just wanted to call, offer you great wishes for the rest of your week and rest of your day. All the best, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry. Bye-bye. Oh, wow. The great Jerry Robinson. Always wonderful to hear from him. Such a nice man. He's a great rock and roller. Very, very talented. And it's wonderful to have that association with the great Jerry Robinson. And I'm telling you that track Hipster Dipster, yes, it is actually in the Bosnia Algeria market. It is very, very successful. Also, I see Mike from Queen City Cabinetry in the Facebook live chat. He was commenting the other day. He saw it on a chart in Tibet. It's number 1 in Tibet, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot of inside jokes today. Sorry. Anyway. But if you're new to the show, you're welcome to join the show and the inside jokes. 603-250-6007. The studio line is open, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connarton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat, and then we'll get into some stuff. If you're just joining us, but you did see the social media post earlier, our guest for this hour, Bob Hennelly, has to reschedule. Journalist Bob Hennelly from New York. He's covering the nurses' strike. And he has to focus on that at the moment. So, but we do have a great musical guest coming up in the second hour. The band Best Not Broken will be here with us, and Shannon is on the line. Hi, Shannon.
Hello. I almost said good morning.
Well, it's morning somewhere.
What I wanted to say was, in case anybody isn't telling you, I think Peter said this morning that the instead of Channel 97, it's Channel 6 now.
I didn't know that.
Well, unless he was pulling everybody's leg, I don't know. But he said that they weren't on 97 anymore. They were on Channel 6.
Okay,
I could be wrong, but in case anybody's looking at 97 that can and doesn't see anything, or just letting you know.
Okay. All right. All right. Thanks, Shannon.
Yeah. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. I don't know. I mean, I know there's going to be some changes with that, with the cable channels, but if that is the case, no one has informed me, so I don't know. 603-250-6007 is the number, 603-250-6007. Let's see. We will say hello to everybody in the chat here. Scott Robinson joins us and says, well, hello, guys. Well, hello, Scott. Also, Jenny is in the chat and says, shalom, peeps. Dylan Reynolds, I mentioned, is in there. Jay Fed, of course, from the great state of Vermont. I was reading about the health benefits of ice baths the other day, and I thought of you, Jay Fed. Melanie La Liberty, of course, in the great state of Vermont. Hello, Melanie. Miriam Banish joins us and says, shenanigans is one of my favorite words. I used the term earlier, but I did stumble upon it, which I felt terrible about. Someone is calling who I think can shed some light on the subject that Shannon was just calling about. Hey, Joe.
Yeah, this might be the answer. And I'm sorry you didn't hear about it, but in fact, Jason and I this morning were just, we looked at the calendar and we go, wow, today's the day.
Oh.
I guess it should have been a bigger deal, but Channel 97 is on 6, and Channel 23, Public Access, is now on 8.
Really? That's wild.
So,
okay.
Yeah, and I think the big news is Channel 9 is now on Channel 9.
Yeah, so Peter did mention something to me about how that was going to be happening, which to me I didn't realize because
as for years they were on, obviously forever they've been on 12 because of interference by analog channels, but we no longer have analog channels anymore, so they can put it wherever they want, and now they got their 9 back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. But what's really good is, so this is on channel 6 right now, is what you're saying. On cable.
It is on channel 6.
That's pretty cool. Actually, that's really
now,
good news.
You know what the weird thing is? They're mapping it throughout the city, so it did not happen all at once. For example, Glenn, who we all know and love, was still watching Jerry Springer on Channel 8 while the rest of us were watching, TV Palmese. So it's not quite done yet, but it will be done by the end of the day.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. All right. Great to know. I'm just excited that we're on Channel 6 because a lot more people are likely
to school. Yeah, it's a little bit easier to get to, I guess. But that's the number.
Yeah, that's a big swing.
And we're stuck with it.
No, I love it. That's great.
All right.
All right, Joe. Thank you so much.
All right,
I appreciate
it. That's all I
got. All right, Joe. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, the great Joe Lahr. And Joe, by the way, I mean, this WMNH would likely not exist were it not for Joe Lahr. But so he deserves a lot more credit than I think people. Well, he's a humble guy anyway, but he deserves a lot of credit for what we're able to do here. But that's cool. So Shannon, you were right. Joe Lahr confirms it. We are now on Channel 6 in Manchester on the cable. That is pretty cool because obviously the advantage of being on Channel 6 is when people who have cable, when they're flipping through the channels, they're a lot more likely to see us and stumble upon us and then say, oh my goodness, who's this lunatic? But which is a good thing because lunacy is ratings. That's an old saying I learned from a television executive I used to know. I totally made that saying up. I did hear a different saying today. I learned a new expression today. Not much meat in the bun, but I don't know how I feel about it. So you might never hear me use it. It kind of makes me giggle a little bit. Anyway, the point being, that's very exciting. So we're now on Channel 6 here in Manchester on cable television. That is amazing. Thank you again to Joe Lahr for chiming in and clearing that up. I was very confused, but apparently this just happened. This is a new development. So Miriam Banish in the chat room says, thanks, Joe Lahr. I love WMNH and MPT. Yes. Sepsis joins us in the Facebook live chat. Great band, of course, and close friends of ours. And Jenny and I, of course, will be not only there, but participating. And we'll have more details when it gets closer, but Swarmy Fest coming up in November at Jewel Nightclub. But Sepsis says, who remembers Continental Cablevision? I have heard of Continental Cablevision. Now, see, by the way, so the whole Channel 9 thing to me, I guess for people who have lived in Manchester because there's people in Manchester who grew up here, obviously. Apparently in Manchester, Channel 9 used to be on Channel 12 here in Manchester. And that's not unusual in cities across the country on cable. You have a conflict. So you have, the numbers don't always line up. But I actually grew up in Concord. And in Concord, Channel 9 was always on Channel 9. So to me, it's nothing new, Channel 9 being on Channel 9. But apparently if you're in Manchester, that's a new thing. But that's good for them. Good for them. Everything's falling into place. Mike from Queen City Cabinetry says, in Rhode Island, we say, much not meat in the 55-gallon drum. That's very confusing, Mike. And by the way, and of course, Mike from Queen City Cabinetry and one of our co-hosts on Friday night on Retro Spectrum Radio. That's why I don't go to Rhode Island. They have all kinds of confusing expressions there, and I don't know what they're talking about. It's like they're talking a different language. It's crazy. Let's see. Miriam Banish says, reminds me a little of Gilbert Gottfried, and I assume she's referring to our friend Jerry Robinson. Boy, how about those song titles, huh? Again, it's a little inside, but we like it. If you know, you know. Oh, Melanie La Liberty said the same thing, Gilbert Gottfried. No, Gilbert Gottfried, though, boy, he was very funny. I was sad when he passed away. But no, Gilbert Gottfried had more of a little bit more of a screech to him than our friend Jerry. Let's see. Oh, and free band Prince, great hip hop artist from Florida, also joining us in the Facebook live chat. Hello. Let me give out the studio line again, especially for our viewers on Channel 6. This is amazing. If you're just joining us, this is Matt Connarton Unleashed here at WMNH 95.3 FM. 603-250-6007 is the studio line, 603-250-6007. We should talk about some things. Again, also, if you are just joining us, our guest Bob Hennelly has to reschedule, but we do have the band Best Not Broken coming up in the second hour. But in the meantime, here's something just completely random that just caught my eye. Not particularly of any great importance, but Mediaite reports Tampa mayor catches over $1 million of cocaine during a fishing trip in the Florida Keys. Now, this quite shocking to me. I didn't know that you could go fishing for that. Maybe the mayor didn't mean for that to happen. You know, when I was a kid, I remember watching Miami Vice and not seeing anything. You know, they were, of course, Vice, narcotics, Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas. I don't remember what their actual names were. I never got into that show. My dad liked that show a lot when I was a kid. I never really got into it. But then again, that was Miami. This happened in Tampa. So maybe if it had been Tampa Vice, they would have had a plot line where, they're fishing. Maybe they're Sonny Crockett. That's the name of the character. Now it's coming back to me. Sonny Crockett's the name of the character that Don Johnson played. Oh, Crockett and Tubbs. Tubbs was the other guy. I forget his first name. Doesn't matter. Mediaite reports a family fishing trip off the Florida Keys yielded an out-of-the-ordinary catch, several blocks of discarded cocaine, over $1 million worth. But the person who recognized it was none other than the mayor of Tampa, Jane Castor. Reporter Olivia George of the Tampa Bay Times recounted the story of how Castor and her family came across the unexpected stash. There was something in the water, black and bobbing. The package adrift in the Atlantic caught the eye of a family enjoying a day of fishing off the Florida Keys on a Sunday in late July. Hey, look at that, said Kelly Castor, a 61-year-old boating enthusiast. Cocaine, replied his older sister, Tampa Mayor Jane Castor. As the package came closer, speaking with the assurance of someone who spent 3 decades in the Tampa Police Department, including about 8 years in narcotics and 6 as police chief. Not just cocaine, but 70 pounds of it, according to U.S. Border Patrol, who also placed the street value of the find at $1.1 million. Ever the former cop, Castor recorded the location where they fished the cocaine out of the water on her watch before they lugged it on board the boat she and her family were riding. Once they were on dry land, Mayor Castor, who, along with her brother, was accompanied on the trip by her son and his girlfriend, called up the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to report the cocaine, which was then taken away by federal agents. The haul made the Miami Herald, as well as the Twitter account, it's X now, and it's not Twitter anymore, of U.S. Border Patrol agent Walt Schlosser, who posted a photo of the cocaine bricks, identifying only a recreational boater as having found the cocaine. Castor was only identified by the Tampa Bay Times on Tuesday as being the one to find the cachet. Wow. After turning in their initial catch, Castor and her family continued their trip to much success, spending, quote, the rest of their vacation diving and fishing, catching no more drugs, but about 60 lobsters, unquote. That must seem, I mean, I know, people like to go fishing for lobster because you can eat lobster, of course, but after catching all that cocaine, where do you go from there, really? Everything after that just seems kind of tame, doesn't it? Wow. Isn't that movie, A River Runs Through It? Isn't that what that's about, catching cocaine on your fishing line? I don't know. John Hopwood joins us in the Facebook live chat and says $1 million ain't what it used to be. Mike from Queen City Cabinetry says it's all in what you use for bait. Well, apparently. And Rhonda Favero from the great state of California joins us in the Facebook live chat. Let's see. In other news, now speaking of, let's look at this because I mentioned, oh, by the way, before we go any further, I know there's Trump stuff. Now he's making claims about Fonnie Willis having an affair with a gang member, just crazy stuff. I'm just not up for it today. If you listen to yesterday's show, when I was talking about TFS settling in, Trump fatigue syndrome, I actually wasn't kidding. I was so not kidding that when it probably sounded like I was joking when I said I was on the verge of a panic attack, just trying to keep track of all the Trump legal stuff in my head, I actually wasn't kidding. Like, I actually was not kidding. I will confess that now. I really did feel one coming on. So I'm just not doing it today. I'm just not doing it today. We're not doing any Trump stuff today. I know. There's new developments in the legal sagas. There are every day. I can't do it. I'm overwhelmed by it. And it's not like if we don't cover any Trump stuff today, there won't be opportunities in the future, like tomorrow or the day after or the next week or whatever. Because this is all going to be going on for a very long time. So I should tell you, especially new viewers on Channel 6, I should tell you, if you're enjoying the show and you're thinking, ooh, I wonder if he's going to talk about the latest Trump news. No, I'm not. I'm taking the day off from Trump. I need a break. Trump has burned me out. Part of it is, I think I need to figure out a way. Again, yesterday, I wasn't, Jenny and I both, and John Hopwood too, we're talking about this and we can't keep it all straight in our heads. You know, the E. Jean Carroll lawsuit and the countersuit, and there was news about that yesterday, and oh my God. I can't do it. So instead, let's look at this because this came up. Twitter, which is now X. CNBC reports today Elon Musk's X aims to win back advertisers with brand new safety technology deal. Some bullet points. X said that it signed an exclusive partnership with the digital ad tech firm Integral Ad Science. I don't care. I just realized I don't care about any of this, so we're gonna X that out. No, I am fascinated by, we do talk about social media on the show and online media and so forth. And I've been just fascinated, as I know we all have, by watching Elon Musk try to figure out what to do with Twitter. And then all of a sudden, one day I sign on, and I don't use Twitter a lot. I use it mostly just to promote the show, to be honest with you. My first social media platform of choice is Facebook. I use Facebook more than anything. But it was odd the first time after the change when I logged on to Twitter and I see this X. And I have to tell you, by the way, not to nitpick. And what do I know? Elon Musk is a billionaire. I'm just me. I'm just a guy sitting here running my mouth. But I have to say, when I open that URL and I see the X logo appear on the screen, it looks a little cheap to me. And look, I am a web designer, so I know a little something about making things look nice. And I don't know, it looks like this X appears, the way it loads, it's kind of cheesy. It looks like Windows 95 or something. And then it goes to the Twitter, and then everything else is the same except for the logo. But it looks cheap. I don't get it. I don't get it. Melanie asks a question about, is there one particular instance where I might speak about Trump? And I'm not comfortable reading that question on the air, but that is funny. And the answer is yes, Melanie. If that did happen, I would talk about it. However, I would have to speak about it in code. I wouldn't want to be graphic. It is afternoon drive after all. Let's see. Now, let's look at this. If you've been following, Ron DeSantis, who, of course, the governor of Florida and anti-woke enthusiast, He's been in New Hampshire a few times now, I think. He's had a big campaign shakeup. This has just happened. In fact, Politico has an updated story. DeSantis replaces campaign manager as he struggles to catch up to Trump. See, we can't avoid Trump entirely today. But we're talking about DeSantis. The focus is DeSantis with this. Yeah, Trump will figure in. Trump has to figure in. By the way, I still think Trump is not going to be at that debate in Milwaukee. That I am sure about. But yes, there's been a campaign shakeup at Ron DeSantis' campaign. By the way, I think people are making perhaps a little bit too much of it, only in the sense that it's interesting because it's political news. This is a presidential primary campaign cycle. So it's all interesting to talk about, which is why I'm bringing it up. But I don't think it's that unusual. It seems to me that campaign shakeups are not unusual in a presidential campaign, especially one that's struggling, that was expected to do better. Apparently, the DeSantis campaign has been burning through cash very quickly and is not getting any real traction. You know, he's supposed to be the challenger to, you know, the biggest quote unquote threat to Trump. I'm not going to be able to avoid Trump completely. It's impossible. He's ubiquitous. But again, we're not making him the focus of this conversation. This is about Ron DeSantis, or Tiny D, one of Trump's nicknames for him, or Ron DeSanctimonious. Oh my God, it really is impossible to avoid Trump. Oh, Paul EC is in the Facebook live chat and says, hey guys, hello Paul, of course, from Retro Spectrum Radio with Paul EC. And also Astronaut Viacom is in the Facebook live chat. And Astronaut Viacom says, what's with Trump, we said. No, Astronaut Viacom, I'm trying to avoid Trump today. I'm trying to avoid, and I'm already failing. So these campaign shakeups are not unusual. But the problem with Ron DeSantis' campaign is, so he was expected to be the biggest threat to Trump. But of course, Trump is ahead by like 40 points. So now he's getting desperate and to try to figure out a way to reboot and course correct. But I don't think this campaign shakeup is going to help unless he's willing to do a couple of things that he probably is reluctant to do. But we have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's your old pal, John C. Hopwood. The C stands for supercilious.
Yes, which starts with an S. We've talked about that. Hi, John.
Well, the Russians say, you know, I support Bobby Kennedy Jr., which means I'm a Putin dupe.
Oh,
to use an old McCarthyite term.
Oh my goodness! Speaking of Bobby Kennedy Jr., I have a question. Have you ever seen the film 13 Days?
Yeah, no, but I've read about it. I don't like to watch like hysterical films.
13 Days.
Historical films.
13 Days is so good.
That's about Kenny O'Donnell.
Yeah, well, it's about the Cuban Missile Crisis, but Kenny O'Donnell is played by Kevin Costner and is the main character in the film.
Right.
Bruce Greenwood plays JFK and is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that very fine Canadian actor, yeah.
Stephen Culp plays Bobby Kennedy. And Jenny had never seen it. I've seen it a number of times. It's one of my top 5 favorite films of all time. I love that movie. I love anything involving the Cuban Missile Crisis.
I'll watch it then.
It's really good, John.
Because they're such good actors.
It is really good. I recommend it.
The only problem I have with Kevin Costner is that my friend Jocelyn used to live over his garage, and there's some bad blood there. So, you know.
Well, I have to hear that story. What do you mean? Why is there bad blood?
You'll hear that one in private.
Oh, it's that kind of story? Okay. I am awfully curious.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, you know. Her boyfriend at the time wrote Dances with Wolves and won the Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
And there's too much to talk about it. It's all right to not name drop in New York City or L.A., but in Manchester it's very vulgar. Although I am going to name drop because we're going to talk about campaign shakeups.
Yes.
The name I have to drop is my late friend Bill Cashin, who I was very close to.
Yes.
He was, they called him the Kingmaker.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to be the head of the whole operation there. but he was one of those New Hampshire politicians that every presidential candidate has to go see. The New Hampshire primary, there are certain people that you have to go see. With the Democrats, Lou D'Alessandro, Senator Lou D'Alessandro from Manchester, everybody has to go see him.
Yeah.
You know, you have to court them. And Bill Cashin, who'd been the chairman of the board of the Manchester Board of Mayor and Aldermen, like a 20-foot portrait there in the chamber, is one of those people they had to see. I spent an hour with Joe Biden at Bill's house one day with our mayor, former Governor Lynch.
What year was that?
That's the way campaigns go.
What year,
that was
John?
The year 2015. That would have been 2019.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, the New Hampshire primary's early. He was not the vice president, Biden.
Right, of course.
And I've talked about meeting Biden before.
Yes.
Yeah, so he comes off a better, he's one of those people like Hillary Clinton that comes off better in private. Although there's not much difference between, I don't know what Biden's like now. It's like meeting Bill Clinton. Now, Bill Cashin, one of the reasons they call him the Kingmaker, was central to Bill Clinton's campaign in 1992. And he actually he told Bill Clinton that after the Jennifer Flowers scandal, that you've got to claim, you know, on election night, if you come in second, that you actually won, which he did. Bill didn't come up with the term "the comeback kid," though. I have no idea who that is.
Oh, I have a theory.
I just want to say, you know,
I have a theory about that. I think Bill Clinton probably used that back when, because if you remember when Bill Clinton was governor of Arkansas, he served a term and then he got voted out. And then the next term he ran again and got voted back in. So he had already been the comeback kid back in Arkansas.
Now, you know, Bill was not a person that talked a lot, but, you know, we did talk a lot because the 2016 primary, Hillary started running. And I can't tell you a lot about that, but Danny O'Neill, who used to be the chairman of the board, who Bill Cashin, that was kind of like his successor, told me stories about, because he was brought into the Clinton campaign. It was the beginning of his career. And he said, and Bill Cashin was about 5'5", you know, my size, and Bill Clinton was 6'3". I met him many times, and Danny O'Neill, who was a big guy. I remember Danny O'Neill trying to hug me once, and I thought he was going to. He did try to hug me, but oh my God, I thought I was going to get asphyxiated because he's a big guy, you know.
Oh my!
And he said, "John, you should have seen just something, you know." Some victory. I think that the time we defeated a certain mayor, we're not supposed to talk about
we're not.
Like that,
yeah, we're not going to get into that.
But Danny was saying, John, you should have seen it after the Jennifer Flowers, you know, blew up, and everybody was all torn out in the seats over what was going to happen. There's Bill, you know, a foot shorter than Bill Clinton. And he's pointing his finger into Bill's chest and saying, you were only going to campaign on the corridor on 93, Nashua, Manchester, Concord. Remember that. Nashua, Manchester, Concord. Don't listen to these people, you know, his campaign advisors. You don't give a damn about Portsmouth. Portsmouth's going to vote, you know, Democrat anyways. You don't care about the North. You don't care about the West. You care about these three cities.
Wait, are you talking about in the primary or the general election?
Yeah, in the New Hampshire primary.
Well, that's what I thought, because then well, that's what I thought, but then you said the thing about Portsmouth, and they're going to vote Democrat anyway, and that threw me.
Right, you don't. Yeah, exactly, because that's true. They're probably going to. But what he meant was probably going to vote liberal, right? And Bill was a conservative moderate.
Yeah.
I don't know who the liberal was in that. Oh, maybe Tsongas.
Well, Paul Tsongas, I mean, he was, everybody knew, I mean, the way I remember it, the reason Bill Clinton could claim victory was because everyone knew Paul Tsongas was going to win anyway, because even though he's from a border state, he had favorite son status,
he's a
effectively.
favorite son, liberal from Massachusetts. He's my candidate. I voted for him.
Oh.
My friends, some of my friends, who you know, wouldn't vote for him because they thought Paul Tsongas was lying about his cancer, which turns out he actually still had the cancer.
Really?
Right?
You know people who thought he was lying about that? Wow.
Well, yeah, because you know we won't get into cancer. Cancer has a tendency to come back.
Yes.
It did with my father.
Yeah.
And you go into remission. But it's important to know in 1992, Bill Clinton listened to a local candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a local politician who knew this guy, Bill Cashin, knew more about politics. I remember saying that. I only talked to Biden. This guy knows more about politics than anybody I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't mention the name Howard Zinn to Joe Biden. He might have, before he became woke, it might have, steam might have come over his ears to hear about that old Brad, But, that's somebody you associate with Bernie Sanders.
Right.
But, okay, so that is 1992. The thing was, you ran a campaign to win in New Hampshire. You get close to the people. I remember John Huntsman saying, people tell me, because when John Huntsman, I covered him, I actually crossed the line and the party line and voted for him in the primary because I was so impressed by him, even though he didn't have my politics.
Yeah,
but Obama was not opposed. I was mad at Obama for assassinating U.S. citizens without the order or anything.
No, I like John Huntsman as well. He's
we're talking about him.
The kind
of
of
labels with Manchin, but
yeah.
But getting back to the campaign, Bill Clinton listened to the local people who knew what was going on. They knew the pulse. Nobody knew more about politics than Bill Cashin. Nobody knew more about Manchester or, the Democratic Party. He knew everybody. And you'd be sitting with him and a call come, oh, hello, Governor. And he had Bill Clinton on his cell phone. They actually called each other Billy because that's 2016. Yeah. In 2016, you had Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton had a bunch of kids running her campaign from the elite universities. That this is a big trend too, where campaigns are run by these technocrats. Yeah. I guess Jimmy Carter was the first person actually that we remember using somebody like that. And Pat Cadell, was his name? The the statistics guy, the polling guy.
Yeah.
But, the thing is, she was not using any local people. She was using kids that were driven by statistics, by online. You wouldn't even say computer-based. It's online. And, Bill is saying he's following the campaign because Obama's coming out of nowhere, and is topping the polls. Mm-hmm. And he says, this is crazy to use these kids. She's not making any connection with vocal. And I'll tell you what, the day before the primary, over on the west side on Kelly Street, there's a French-Canadian joint, Chez Vachon. Mm-hmm. And it's famous. You go in there, and there's pictures of every presidential candidate, back to like 1972.
Yeah.
And they're famous for their do you call it poutine, whatever? It's French-Canadian dish, French fries with gravy. Vika came when she was visiting me. I took her there, and she said it tasted like vomit, but, it's a local specialty, and a lot of people like it. Bill Clinton loved it. So we're having a meeting over at Chez Vachon. It's before Hillary, the day. It's the last day of the primary, and she is going to go campaigning. Mm-hmm. But they're waiting, and they're waiting for Bill Cashin to come. I had to go. I can't go into details in the story, but finally Bill shows up. And Bill, I'm sitting with Danny O'Neill, Bob Backus, who you well know, who's Harvard-educated lawyer, but probably the only true liberal in the entire city of Manchester before, the new generation of people. and I'm sitting with Bill Barry too. We're all sitting, and Cashin is sitting with goes and sits down with Hillary and Bill Clinton at just these, in the small restaurant at just the regular table, and then Danny, being the chairman of the board, and the titular head of the Democratic Party in America, goes and sits with them. And I'm looking at them, and at the time they took a picture of everybody, and they cropped me out of it. National. They had Bill Barry back at, but since I was on the side of Danny was sitting, and he left, I guess there was nobody sitting behind, next to me, so they cropped me out, and that went New York Times national photo. But I'm looking at Bill Cashin, and he has you remember those eyes when you met him? Those eyes that used to make aldermen have bowel movements in their britches if he gave him that look.
Oh my!
He's looking at Hillary, and he's pointing and he's talking.
Yeah.
And her and Bill are looking at him intently. And what he told me later, he says, "You can't rely on these kids. You screwed up. You have to do both. You have to listen to the local people. You have to use the local people. That's why you're failing." And this is the guy that helped Bill win. People need to know in the New Hampshire primary, a lot of people came in second and were considered victors. Eugene McCarthy came in a close second, and LBJ, the sitting president, that was the end of it for him. George McGovern came in second to the Senator Muskie from Maine, who was considered the front runner because he'd been the vice presidential nominee with Humphrey in '68. He wins the nomination. Coming in a close second can be a victory. But here's a guy that helped Bill Clinton win the primary and become president. And what happened after the New Hampshire primary? Bernie Sanders won an overwhelming victory in 2016, and they immediately shook up the campaign staff, and they went. But Hillary being Hillary, she went more to the DNC.
Right.
Professionals, but not kids that she controlled. She took on like equals. Because remember at the time they were saying that she wanted to distance herself from her husband's campaign.
Yeah.
Former, campaign apparatus and people to be her own person.
That worked out great for Al Gore.
I'm sure they were part of that.
Yeah. Well, John.
And,
we gotta go in a second.
I'm just saying, it happens. People shake up their campaign.
Yes, they do.
I have some more tales to tell, but I've taken up too much of your time.
Yeah, we're coming up on the top of the hour. We've got some musical guests coming in. I think I see musicians in the hallway, so we will have to move along. But I appreciate the call.
Yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care.
All right, John. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was the great John Hopwood. And DeSantis, we'll see again. We'll see if he changes direction. I mean, if I were Ron DeSantis's new campaign manager, the two bits of advice I would give him, neither of which I think he would take. One is I would tell him he's going to have to start going at Trump, like really going at him, because if he and some of the other candidates on the Republican side here, it seems like they're sort of on this dual track where they're opponents of Trump because they're running against him for the nomination, but simultaneously they're also surrogates for Trump because they're also kind of talking about how great he is because they don't dare upset the MAGA base. Obviously, there are exceptions like Chris Christie and so forth. But I would say to DeSantis, look, you're number 2 in this race. You're the guy who is supposed to be able to beat Trump. Maybe you should start campaigning like that's what you're actually trying to do. And DeSantis, he'll be somewhat critical, but he doesn't like to say Trump's name and tries to avoid that if he can. And the other thing the other bit of advice that I would have for DeSantis, again, if I were his campaign manager, I would say, and there's already been a slight change with this anyway, But I would say no more with the, anti-woke stuff. Your answer to every single question in every media interview should not be, well, we have to do something about wokeism. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, there is a large segment of the Republican Party, of Republican voters, to whom that appeals. They love the culture war stuff. They eat it up. But I think there's also a large, and there's polling data that shows this, there's also a large contingent of the Republican Party that really has no use for it and tends to be more practical and pragmatic about things and isn't so much into the culture war stuff. There's plenty of suburban educated Republicans, moderate Republicans who, probably sitting at the table, sitting at their desk at home, looking at their electric bill, which is 50% higher than it was a year ago, going, well, I know I'm supposed to be really angry at trans people, but I'm not sure how that's going to help me pay this electric bill. I know I'm supposed to be really angry about critical race theory, but is that really going to help me buy groceries? I'm not sure that it is, so I think there's a very large segment of the Republican Party that just, they listen to somebody like DeSantis and the answer to everything is, well, it's wokeism. We have to defeat wokeism. And they're just kind of rolling their eyes and they're going, this is the guy who's supposed to be the alternative to Trump. So I would definitely make some changes. And as far as going at Trump harder than he is, what does he have to lose? He can continue to try to walk that line between political opponent and supplicant, much like Mike Pence does so masterfully. Mike Pence, though, clearly he knows he's not going to be the nominee. He's just trying to sell some books. And DeSantis probably knows he's not going to be the nominee as well, and he's probably going to make another run in 2028. And he's just kind of trying to get the hang of it now, so he knows what to do and what not to do in 2028. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if anything changes with this campaign shakeup. All right, we are approaching the top of the hour, so we're gonna show some love to our amazing sponsors here at WMNH, and then we're gonna play a track. I'm gonna play this song "Brain" from the band Best Not Broken, and then when we come back from the break in the second hour, Best Not Broken will be here with us live in studio. So there is plenty more to come. Don't go away. Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
When the lights go out and the voices fade, There's a kindness found in the mess we made. And innocence turns to a tender pain. Tell me what's wrong with your brain. Tell me what's wrong with your brain. When the spell is cast and the shackles break, and we're free at last, but there's no escape. And the passion falls like the pouring rain. Tell me what's wrong with your brain. 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 Tell me what's wrong with your brain.
That is Brain by the band Best Not Broken. And we've got a couple of guys from the band here with us. We're going to introduce them in just a moment. But welcome, everybody. This is Matt Connarton Unleashed as we have entered hour number 2, numero dos, here from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also now on Channel 6 in Manchester, Comcast Channel 6. And of course, welcome to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Tuesday, August 8, 2023, and we have Eric at the news desk. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. Good to see you, Matt.
And Carlo on the couch?
Right on the couch.
How did you get the couch, by the way?
Well, there's a story there, but I'm not sure we should go into that right now.
All right.
And
leave it alone.
And who are we missing? And feel free to make up a ridiculous story about.
I suppose we could. Probably that would be better than the truth.
I think yes.
It's more fun if you come up with a story, not to put you on the spot.
Well, we're missing Mark. Mark is our bass player.
Yes.
And I'm trying to remember whether he stubbed his toe or if he hurt his wrist.
It's a combination. I think he stubbed his toe while hurting his wrist.
That's probably what.
So get a visual of that.
Right, which has happened a couple times with Mark.
Oh my!
Well, he's a very dynamic individual, and he moves around and jumps around a lot. And,
yeah.
You know, a lot of times lands on his toe.
Well, that's understandable. Well,
actually, there's truth to that. I think he hurt his toe last week, right?
Yeah, it was.
So that's not all.
Well, thoughts and prayers for Mark.
Thank you.
Well, welcome, guys. By the way, Mike from Queen City Cabinetry, one of our sponsors here at WMNH, said in the chat room, this is a really good song. I would definitely hit repeat. And JFed from the great state of Vermont says, I dig that song.
Cool.
So you're getting some love in the
awesome.
chat
Thanks,
room
guys.
already.
Appreciate that.
Now, what do you guys? So Mark is a bass player. So what do you guys each do in the band?
So I sing and play the guitar. Carlo is in charge.
Play some drums.
Yeah, all percussion.
So you got it's like a power trio, basically, right?
Exactly.
But is there a fourth individual who does?
Yeah, there is. We got another guitar player that sits in with us most of the time, Anand, and
yeah, we have mystery men that do all kinds of interesting things with the band. But Anand is the most regular. Anand is our other guitar player.
Gotcha. So is Anand there only occasionally for live shows or consistently or?
Most of the time. So it sort of depends on the event. You know, I mean, sometimes we're in an acoustic format and it calls for a smaller thing, and sometimes it's a bigger thing. And so he does the bigger things, I guess is the way we'd most simply describe it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And how long has the band been around? Because it looks like you've got a fair amount of music online from what I saw. Looks like you've been at it for a while.
We have, yes, a long time. Well, in this room, I'm the young member, but it's been for, more than 10 years?
Oh, yeah, for sure. To the point that we don't like the music that we first wrote.
Right.
For sure, we're trying to move on from that. But no, I think our first recordings were done in 2012.
Okay.
And the band, it started before that and sort of evolved. We actually kind of started as a cover band, playing clubs here in Manchester and around Boston and southern New Hampshire, and slowly started to work our own material into our shows, and eventually started to record that material. And so 2012 is when we started to push the original stuff, and so that's, I think, officially when we became an original band.
Okay.
Which it actually isn't as long as I thought, but
no, it seems shorter or longer. Right? I'm not sure.
I know. But anyway, we've been doing it a while.
I always say, and I say it only half kidding, I feel like the COVID pandemic kind of created this weird time distortion thing where sometimes things that happened longer ago, they seem like they either didn't happen as long ago as they actually did, or they seem longer ago or something. It's really odd. And I run into that a lot, specifically with musicians, when we're talking about how long ago did you record this or whatnot.
Right.
And I had a band in here recently. It was like they had just recorded something in like 2 years ago, 2021, but one of the members was convinced it was like 2018. It's just interesting how that works.
Well, COVID changed the music business so much. I mean, live entertainment, obviously, because we weren't gathering, and so it really changed it for a lot of musicians. And we're fortunate we have other ways of paying the bills sometimes, but those that were fully dependent on playing for a living had a really hard time.
Absolutely. And it seems like there's been some lasting changes too, because when the pandemic started to wrap up and things opened up, all of a sudden a lot of bands are playing out again because they can, but then it's like now, I have a lot of different musicians on the show, and different people have different approaches, but some of the bands I talk to now, they're kind of like, yeah, we're doing, maybe one show a month. We're not really, gas is expensive. It's, we can do live performances in our living room and stream it, and are really kind of pulling back. Which to me is interesting, and it's hard to fathom in a way, because I don't play anymore, but I used to play in a lot of bands, and my thing was always, I just wanted to play out. I wanted to play as many shows as possible, because being on stage was my favorite thing in the world.
Sure, yeah.
I just wanted to. That's all I mean, I was in a couple bands where we probably oversaturated because we played so much.
Yeah, right.
But I wanted to be out there every weekend, and I didn't care if we were playing the same bar 2 weekends in a row, or which not a great idea necessarily, but I didn't care. And but it's interesting now. Some bands are really kind of pulling back, and then there's others who are just playing every weekend and really really trying to still push it. But
I think the period right before COVID, who knows what date that was, but that summer season, we were actually very busy.
Yeah,
we were playing a lot all over the Northeast, touring as far down as Virginia. I mean, we were very, very busy, and so we were definitely gearing up for another very busy touring season, and then kapoof. Yeah. But and we certainly haven't returned to that. Like to your point, a lot of bands, musicians have not returned to that hectic schedule of playing out as much as possible, because I think we've all discovered that there's just different ways of getting the music out there for people to listen to, especially as an original band. We have to take advantage of all those methods, and those methods were proven during COVID. We were able to get music to people. We actually did a music video during COVID.
That's right,
We filmed a video, one of these, hands off, mask on kind of video things for one of our most popular songs. The name
Never Next
Oh
Week.
yeah, Never Next Week. And but it was actually a very clever video the way we did it, and I think it'll stand the test of time. And one could look at it and say, "Oh, that's how they responded during COVID," or one could look at it and say, "No, that's just a cool music video."
Yeah,
it's got two different, I think, shapes to it, which is not exactly what we were going for, but it's how it turned out.
Right, right.
So yeah, it definitely changed the landscape for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I always say too, we have to obviously, the pandemic was awful for a number of reasons, but we have to find these silver linings where we can, and one silver lining is the timing of it, because if it had happened 20 years ago, or even 10 years earlier than it did, we were fortunate that it happened at a time when we have all this technology,
right?
And it kind of forced people to embrace technology in ways that they hadn't before. But some of what we were seeing, like, I saw examples of actually very famous and successful bands doing these, these streams online where they're all at home, but they're playing together,
right?
And for performances and in lieu of touring, and pretty remarkable stuff. And I feel like if this had happened 20 years ago, before we had things like Zoom and social media and everything,
you wouldn't see anything.
Probably.
Yeah.
Career ending, probably.
Oh yeah. It would have been much worse in that sense. So we're lucky that it happened at a time when we have the technology.
Absolutely.
And and it seems to happen about once a century. So hopefully we don't have to go through it ever again.
I hope so.
We're back, baby.
So.
Yeah. So you guys now you're playing out a lot, right? But not as much necessarily as before the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, we have different reasons. We have families and things that we have to be respectful of, but we, like you, we love performing, and I think Best Not Broken really throughout our history has been a live band. That's kind of what we are, and unlike some other bands that they can put out material and never play and be okay with that. That's kind of not how we do it. And so we're doing as much as we can. I think we go through spells of being really busy and spells of slowing down a little bit, but that's the nature of the business. But we love every time we step on a stage.
Is summer your busiest time?
Sure is.
Usually is.
Yeah.
Usually is.
I think it starts like in May, goes through September.
Yeah.
That seems to be the season where a lot of bands are out touring, and so we're either supporting some major acts or performing on our own. I mean, I would say the last, certainly this year, and I guess last year too, right? We've kind of kept it a little more regional. We've been more in New England, I suppose, than we haven't really branched out from there yet.
Right.
But, I'm not saying we won't. It's coming, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But as you said earlier, more selective maybe,
Yeah.
Well, the other thing for us is we're in the process. There was COVID wasn't great for us in terms of producing material, and we're in the process of putting a new album out. And
excellent.
So oftentimes the performances follow the live recordings because you're out promoting those recordings. And so we just released a song like 2 weeks
couple
ago,
weeks ago,
which is the first single on our next album, which is called If It Feels Right. EP, actually. It'll be probably 6 songs on it.
Oh, okay.
And the rest of it's coming out next month. So there'll be some shows that we do in support of that.
Yeah.
We've got a fun one coming up. We're going to be with the Smashing Pumpkins up at Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion.
Really?
In Guilford. What is that? It's 2 weeks from now.
Couple weeks.
Right?
Yeah. Excellent. Congratulations.
Yep. Thanks.
Very good.
It's funny because back in the day, we all used to listen to Smashing Pumpkins, and we still do sometimes, but our music probably back then was a lot more like them. It's evolved in a different way, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes. The folks that are going to see Smashing Pumpkins, but we're gonna have fun either way. It'll be good.
Have you guys opened for a lot of big acts that have come through?
We've been very fortunate. Yeah, we've done some good ones. I'll tell you one we did this year, which still sticks with me, is the now I forgot the name. Guess Who?
The Guess Who.
Yeah, the Guess Who.
The Guess Who.
And when that was first offered to us, I think there was some the Guess Who? Who's that again? Kind of thing. And then you queue up their collection, and their music is absolutely iconic. I mean, it defined a generation. I mean, that's
absolutely
pretty big stuff. So we were really honored to be a part of that show. That was over in Salisbury, Mass. That was a good show at the Blue Ocean Music Hall. Great venue. If you've been there, it's a wonderful venue to play and to see some music. So, every year we seem to get 3 or 4 good opening slots, which gives us an opportunity to promote ourselves and gather new fans. And sometimes we get a few, sometimes we don't. But it's a big live show, and so for us, for people to see us live, I think they really get a sense of the fun that we're having and the kind of music that we're making, and hopefully get somebody to buy a few records along the way and listen to some music. But it's been good. We've been lucky.
You guys have merch you bring to shows?
We
You have
do.
a good amount of
Yeah,
merch,
we just came out with a fabulous T-shirt. You know why it's fabulous? Because our pictures are on it. We've never done a T-shirt with our pictures on it.
Oh, really?
And most of the feedback we got was, what in the heck are your pictures doing on the shirt? But no, it's a good group shot. It's a funny. We actually did the photo shoot for it in Manchester.
Yeah,
right. It was
down the
here in
street.
Manchester, on the old railroad tracks or somewhere up the road here, and it was a cool shot. We always liked that. It was a cool photo, right? So
yeah.
It ended up being on a shirt, and I don't know. We've sold quite a few of them, actually.
We have, and the one thing we forgot to do is bring one here today, but that's okay because we're gonna either come back or mail it to you to make sure you have it.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Yeah, it's funny. I was just reading recently about how there was a time when people in the music industry thought, in terms of merchandise, that you couldn't put for a men's shirt. For women it was different, but for men you couldn't put pictures of a male band's faces on a shirt because dudes wouldn't wear a shirt with other men's faces on it.
Interesting.
This was I'd read something, actually Rolling Stone had something about this from way back, when I was a kid, actually, when Daryl Hall and John Oates, their manager at the time, Tommy Mottola, who went on to do other things, but apparently that was a big discussion in that camp, was, do we put out do we bother putting out men's shirts with Daryl and John's faces on them, because are men going to wear that?
Right.
And I guess even to this day people debate about that. But then it's funny because last week I had Andy Klasensky. I don't know if you know him. He's a singer-songwriter from the Seacoast.
Cool.
He was here, and just coincidentally, he happened to have he was wearing a Michael McDonald shirt with Michael McDonald's face on it, and I didn't even realize it. But at first, and then the subject of Michael McDonald came up, and I was like, "Oh, he's on your shirt," and then and that made me think of that whole discussion of that debate about.
I had no idea that ever happened. My favorite album cover ever was the I forget the name of the album, but it was the Police, and their 3 pictures were on it. And actually, we were sort of going for that kind of a thing. On this T-shirt, we didn't quite get it, but we made it our own.
Yeah.
It's more of a funny shirt. Kind of goes with our vibe. We're having fun and dressed in some sort of costume, and I mean it's just a funny kind of thing. But it is funny you mentioned merchandise. It's the first time we've done something. Normally it's like some graphic, right? Like something, maybe it's the EP cover or something, but this time we went a little outside, and I'm gonna have to think about that now. How many guys? We should do a survey to see how many guys have actually bought the shirt.
Right.
I mean,
I hope they do. Some have already, so we know it's working a little.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. I think hip hop kind of changed that stigma too, of guys wearing shirts with other guys' faces. Because,
sure.
Because once hip hop started to get really big, it wasn't unusual to see somebody wearing a Snoop Dogg shirt with Snoop Dogg's actual face on it.
Right.
But
if only we were as cool as Snoop Dogg.
I know.
That's right.
I know.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
It's incredible. He never stops.
He's one of those few people who can be, he can still be edgy with his music and whatnot, and the swearing and everything, but also have that side to him that's very family friendly.
Right.
I'm not sure I can think of another example of somebody quite like that who occupies that space the way that he does.
No, that's a good point. I'm not sure I can either.
No.
Part of why I was asking about merch too is it seems like, because we were talking about playing shows and how expensive it's more expensive than it used to be to travel and so forth. And it seems like there's a push within the music industry now for everybody to really sell more merch, because it's the one thing, as far as selling your music, Spotify gives you,
big money. Yeah. Big money.
Yeah. The streaming services don't give you much. And touring, a lot of that money ends up going into your gas tank and paying for whatever else. And so it seems like merch is because you can't download a T-shirt.
Right.
At least not yet.
Right.
I thought when 3D printers came out, that was going to kill the merch
happen,
thing.
sure.
And then it just didn't happen. I'm not sure why. But I guess it's a good thing it didn't happen, because then that'd be another revenue stream down the toilet. Melanie in the chat room says, Jay was just saying that he wished he had a shirt with Matt's face on it. Well, actually, now see my shirts. See, I've got these Matt Connarton Unleashed shirts, but that's not really.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
But that's like a representation of my. It's not my actual face. It's like me as an anime character,
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Quite see it from here.
Yeah. Brendan McCormick. He very, very talented graphic artist who works here. Actually, he designed the logo, and then we put it on the back of these shirts. And it's. I remember when he showed it to me, and he was like. He was a little bit sheepish about it. He didn't know if I was going to like it because it's a little outside the box. And I was never into anime, but I knew enough about it I recognized that there's an anime called Devil May Cry. And I only knew this because I used to work in a store that sold DVDs.
Okay.
So we had an anime section. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I love it. And,
it's been around. I have to see this.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if... The shirt might be a little faded, but
he's coming over for a first-hand look.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. And then Jenny had shirts made up, and that became the.
Carlo, we might have to steal that concept.
The official logo.
Oh yeah, we're going anime.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Nice.
Have at it. Oh, Mike from Queen City Cabinetry says my son has worn that T-shirt, Matt. It's his absolute favorite. Yes. And Mike was also asking about the songs I played. So I played Brain. Earlier, and I also played. I opened the show today with that song "Kids," which is so catchy.
Awesome.
Do you guys all write together, or who writes the songs?
Yeah, I write everything. And then I submit it to Eric for approval. He throws it in the trash and rewrites everything in a more perfect sense.
The truth is, Carlo writes all of our bridges. No one is allowed to write a bridge unless Carlo has approved it. But yeah, so we it's every song is a little bit different. I mean, I'm a songwriter, and Mark, our bass player, is a songwriter, and so we both bring in a lot of ideas.
Yeah,
and some of them are more fully formed by the time they get to the band, and some of them aren't, and some of them sort of come together when we're together. But it's amazing. A lot of people say, I mean, we're joking around. A lot of people say drummers don't write, but it's amazing what when Carlo lays down a pattern or rhythm, what that can do to kind of change the dynamic of a song and move it in a certain direction. So it's a very collaborative process, even though, we're the guys playing the guitars and singing the lyrics and writing some of the stuff. It doesn't work unless we do it together in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And the drums sound incredible, by the way. Where do you guys record? Because the drums really, because not everyone gets that right when producing drums, but you can hear everything, every tom, it just sounds so good.
Yeah, it's true. We've been lucky to work with a couple of really good studios that really understand your point of making the drums sound good. I'm obviously pretty biased towards the sound, but when you're building a piece of music, it starts with the drums, right? And it starts with the drums and goes to the bass right away, because that's the foundation of it, And so we've been lucky to have a couple of real good producers work with us and recording engineers that understand that and they get a very good sound.
It's like the foundation of a house. I mean, truly, you can't have a good song the way we try to write songs unless the drums sound good. We've made that mistake, and we never want to make it again.
Yeah.
And I think today, with hip hop becoming such a big deal, over the last 20 years, and so many contemporary songs relying very heavily on the rhythm and the groove, it's like that you're hearing that, and you're hearing the lyrics, and the rest of the stuff in some cases just sort of washed out in the middle.
Sure,
right?
sure,
you gotta, so people are looking for the rhythm, and they're looking for the groove, and you got to get it right. But we typically we'll record with Dave Minahan down at Woolly Mammoth Studios in Waltham. Dave's
that's a name I've definitely heard.
Yeah, you have.
Dave is he's a Boston legend. Really, we've been very fortunate that he's been willing to take us on. And but he when Brad Whitford was not healthy, he was playing with Aerosmith, and he's played with the Replacements. He's a guitar player too.
Okay,
played with the Replacements, and but he's an amazing producer in his own right. He's a great musician. We're fortunate now that he's kind of playing with us, because he's actually on most of the songs that we're putting out now.
Yeah.
In fact, he did a lot of the background vocals for one of the tunes that's coming out next month, which I'm excited to put out, called "That's the Way She Likes It," and it's kind of a song that draws on influences from some of the 80s and 90s stuff, but real heavy background vocals, which are very cool. So,
yeah. Oh, wow.
Looking forward to that one. But it starts with the drums.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
How did you get to working with Minahan? What's his first name, Mike?
Dave Minahan.
Dave.
He moved to Waltham from the Boston area many, many years ago, and I think it happened because I was reading a story about his move to this new studio, and it was just about the time I was getting ready to record my first batch of songs, and I was looking for some help, and I sent him my stuff, and I said, "What do you think?" Thinking that he would say either nothing or, or I don't think much, but fortunately he said, "Hey, actually, that's pretty cool. Why don't you come down and we'll talk a little bit?" And I did, and that was the beginning. We did an EP that was again back in 2012. It took us a while to record that. Carlo knows we take too long to record, especially when I'm by myself. But it came out really well. The funny thing is, I went in with a completely different vision of what we ended up with. And at the end of the day, I don't know whether it's good or bad. I was at the time actually going in more of a synthesizer, type of direction. And, And Dave sort of brought it back to more of an acoustic guitar based, a little bit more of a classic sound, which worked really well for those songs. And he was probably right.
Yeah.
But we've managed over the years to weave in some of the new stuff and keep some of the, the more traditional organic sounds, acoustic guitars and electric guitars and that kind of stuff. But
there's a couple songs on that first album though that continually get requested at shows.
True.
So I mean, it's funny, we've played them. It's an older piece, but it seems like they're the ones that people want to hear.
Yeah, those that have been around for a while, they remember some of those tunes. Pretty Good Day is the one that stands out to me. That was on the first album that people tend to like, but we like the new stuff too.
Yeah. Now, are you guys from Boston or are you?
We are from the general area. We've sort of bounced back and forth between Boston and Southern New Hampshire. The band collectively, our members have sort of zigzagged around the area, so we kind of consider ourselves a greater Boston band. But right now we've got some roots in Southern New Hampshire, and but the area's been very good to us. We've kind of started in Manchester and sort of grew from there. We have regular stuff we do now up in Burlington, and we've, as Carlos said, we get down as far as Virginia. New York has been a more regular thing. We haven't been down there in a while.
Philadelphia.
Philly. We haven't had stuff to promote, but I think probably that's coming up in the not too distant future.
Cool. Very good. Well, actually, why don't we we'll take a break and play another track here. Let's see. You sent me. Oh, one of the things, you didn't send me this one, but you said there's a new single that came out recently?
I did. It's called I Don't Belong, and I thought I sent it to you.
Oh, you did send me that. Okay. No, you did.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know why for some reason I thought you had said something else, but my brain is mush sometimes. I probably have
ours often is too.
Yes. We do some of our best work when our brain is mush.
Here we go.
Carlo does at least.
Here we go. I got it. Okay. Here it is. I like this one a lot too. This is really good. So let's do this. We'll give this a listen. If you're just joining us, we've got two of the guys, Eric and Carlo from the band Best Not Broken, are here with us live in studio, and we've been talking, and we're going to listen to another track here. So this is called I Don't Belong, and this is the newest single just within the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, just out 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, I guess. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, check this out. I Don't Belong from Best Not Broken.
I'm walking in a homeroom, everybody boom boom. I see my kicking sideburns and watch the girlies' heads turn. I got my jeans pegged, mullet done with hairspray, walking, rocking new wave, copas and a fresh shave. I wanna be a rock star, pimping in my new car, hotties in the backyard, but I got nothing so far. Can I get up? 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 I don't belong. Everybody knows.
on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire, also on Comcast Channel 6 if you are in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. And joining us here live in studio, we have Eric and Carlo from the band Best Not Broken. And we just heard a great song from them, I Don't Belong. That's the newest single these guys out. And if you have any questions or feedback or anything at all for these guys, the studio line is open, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connarton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is give us a call at 603-250-6007. And guys, that's a very, very catchy. I caught myself singing along to it. So that probably happened. I would imagine when you play that at shows, you probably get people singing along, right?
It does. It gets a real good response, singing, clapping. I think the video actually, I think people that see the video might be amused because we released a video at the same time. And it's one of our, we're very proud of it because we look like absolute buffoons.
Well, I was going to say, let's be honest, it was absolutely ridiculous. Fully ridiculous. But we sort of captured the essence of the song, I think.
Yeah, we did.
And it happened fast. I was shocked we were able to pull it together, but we would encourage your listeners, if they like that tune, to check out the video for I Don't Belong on YouTube. It's there. And
you'll get a good laugh.
There and waiting for you.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, it's funny. That's another subject that's come up a lot on the show lately is videos, because there's some people, I don't know if you guys run into this at all, there's some people who have this perception that music videos are a dead art form because, you know, MTV hasn't played videos in decades. And it's like, it's funny, but I run into people who don't seem to realize that actually, because of YouTube, there's more music videos being made than ever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like when Beyonce puts out a new album, for example, you know, she's got the money to do it. When she puts out a new album, every single song on the album has a video.
Right.
It's actually more than ever. So
I think people want to see that multimedia entertainment. You know, they want to they want to get a bigger picture of what. Certainly, they want to see the artist. You know, they're hoping to see the artist in the video, and it just provides a more multi-dimensional musical experience as opposed to just listening to music. I mean, and I think you might capture the interest a little more. Like people will listen to the entire song as opposed to when you're streaming.
That's a good point.
They're gonna get a minute or so in, like, yeah, all right, move to the next one, move to the next one, move to the next one, click, 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 click. But a video, you're probably gonna watch the whole thing.
It's an interesting phenomenon. I mean, as a musician now, you know that if you don't put a video out with a song, you're missing listeners or viewers, right? You're missing people that might otherwise see it.
Right.
But it's also interesting because it truly changes the dynamic of how people experience the song, right? Because in the old days, when there was no video, or now when there's no video, you come up with your own images, right?
Yeah.
But you're forced to follow the images that are put out in this video, which I think sometimes is great and sometimes not. But it's a new way of experiencing it for sure. Yeah.
It's funny though. It's like we're time traveling in a way, because this is the same conversation that people had when on shows like this, when MTV first went on the air.
Yeah, right.
And artists would talk about, now you're assigning these images to the video, to the song rather, which might be a good thing or might not. And and
I still want to be on MTV. Can we still do that?
Yeah, I want my MTV.
Me too.
Wait, that sounds like a.
There must still be videos on there somewhere, right?
I'm sure there are.
There must be like a 20-minute video show or something somewhere on MTV. But yeah, reality television just completely took over. I guess in the 90s, right? I think it's been that long.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we haven't done our own reality show yet. We're going to leave that one alone, I think.
How many videos have you guys shot?
What do you think, Carlo?
That's a good question, but there's enough to keep you busy.
Yeah, entertained for a while.
I would say probably 10.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe a little more. Some are more involved than others.
Yeah.
I know the first one that I participated in was for Won't Stop Loving You, which was a very elaborate production and a very moving video. I would say that was the most emotional video that we've made. And if you put a bunch of people in a room, I guarantee you a bunch of them are going to be crying by the time they get to the end of that video.
Wow.
It's very, very touching. And it's a great song. We think so. But it's another one. It's a fan favorite.
Yeah.
It's from an earlier record, and they seem to love that song. So we like playing it. But so our videos range from serious to absolute insanity.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so.
Now, the videos, do you have someone you work with on those, or do you do them because
we do?
Okay, because I was going to say we live in an era where really you can do it all yourself. It's pretty remarkable. But...
You can if you're that talented.
Yeah,
we're just not that.
We are
talented.
not that talented. No, we have helpers.
Yeah,
helpers are necessary for us.
Do you work with the same people on each? Have you worked with the same people on each video, or is there a production company you work
lately
with?
We have.
Yeah. We've there's a company called 106 Studios out of Boston that we've been using recently. Travis Gray's been the lead guy for us, and that's gone very well. We've used other people in the past, but Travis has been doing good work for us lately.
Excellent. And what are the live shows like? Do you guys do you have any you do any kind of elaborate stage show or anything, or do you just play, or any kind of theatrics? Or do you save that for the videos?
Well, so we do a range of shows. We are primarily an original band, but we do shows where we'll mix covers into our shows. Some of them are more cover oriented, but really the focus of what we do is original material.
Yeah.
But the reason I say that is because some of these shows tend to be a little more grueling, like 3 hours long or 4 hours long, and the dynamic is a little bit different than a short and sweet, action-packed, true best not broken original show. But we one of the things we try to do is really have great energy when we put on a show, and we try and go out and leave it all on the stage. We're all athletes, and probably because we wish that we could still be as competitive as we once were. The only place we can do it is on the stage, and so we occasionally stub our toes and fall off of things. But we try to do lots of jumping.
Yep.
We hope that it's an engaging and action-packed show. It should be that.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I'm reminded of a story. Maybe we should share of we
I don't know what story you're going to tell, so I don't know whether we should share or not.
We'll find out together.
It was a live concert we did at the Tupelo Music in Derry.
Nice.
And it was outdoors, during the period where they were doing outdoor shows, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Which was very clever, quite frankly. Anyway, we headlined a show, and as Eric said, it's an action-packed show. I mean, the drummer just has to sit there most of the time, but the rest of the guys are moving around quite a bit on stage. And we had a choreographed piece of the show, remember, where we were doing some things. And the point of the story is it was about 150 degrees out, and the sun was hitting that stage, and you know, you're driven by the music and the fan interact. It was a sold-out show, so a lot of people, and you're feeding off that energy. But at some point, it's just not enough.
Right.
It was so hot out.
Yeah.
I think we were all feeling a little faint. And there's a particular thing. You'll have to come to one of our shows. There's a particular thing we do at the end where this guy runs around, just does something absolutely crazy. And it was great. You know, we're watching, the whole thing's happen, and people are applauding, blah, 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 blah. And that's the end of the show. The encore's over. And we got to the back, you remember? And he was white as a sheet. I thought I literally thought he was going to pass out because he was so active, and it was so hot out.
Yeah.
And you can't hydrate on stage, really. So, you know, you're just giving it all. And that was quite a performance, I would say.
That was So I try to get a little exercise, and this is one of those times where I almost didn't make it back to the stage.
Wow.
And we've had a couple of those lately. In fact, we were down in Salisbury a few weeks ago, and I almost didn't make it back to the stage, which would have been terrible because you guys would have had to clean up all by yourself.
Yeah, somehow I feel like that was part of the plan.
It might have been. It might have been. I was in the big band van.
Wow. Well, you know, I always say rock and roll should be sweaty, but you don't want, you know, heat stroke or anything like that either.
No, definitely try to keep it as safe as we can.
I will tell you, our fabulous bass player who couldn't make it today with his broken toe carries a fan with him every show.
Oh, really? Yeah.
He has a fan set up because I think he sweats the most of all of us.
Oh my God!
And this fan is just always running. It doesn't matter.
Well, actually,
what
the truth is, we have levels of fan. I mean, he has his standard fan, but then we have a super hot show. We upgrade to the big fan, and then we can actually double fan if we have to double fan.
Oh.
I would say that the worst. So the one time when Mark was sweating so much, and there was nothing a fan could possibly do. The video that we shot for the song "Kids," which I think you played earlier, had Mark at the beginning in a kangaroo outfit. And at the end, he had to go because we ran out of time. And so I briefly had to play the kangaroo.
Oh.
And I put on the kangaroo outfit. And I couldn't feel the outfit because it was mush. It was it was mush. It was
sweating
probably
so much.
the most disgusting thing I've ever felt in my life.
God.
And so I no longer even will look at kangaroos.
But does it make you feel closer to him?
Not at all.
That you've
worn, I try to stay further away.
Now that you've worn his his sweat.
No, Mark, if you're listening, I'm actually currently trying to get further away from you.
Wow, that's funny. Eric, you ever do any radio or voiceover work or anything?
Never.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who's ever asked you that. I can't be the first one to ever ask you that.
It's possible you are. I'm not sure.
Wow.
No, I've never done it.
Because you've got the voice. Carlo, doesn't he have the voice?
You've got the voice for radio. Yes,
you think?
Definitely.
You've got one of those voices I'm actually jealous of. Because I'm very, I'm able to evaluate myself pretty honestly, I think. I know I have a good radio voice, but you have a great radio voice. You've never done a podcast or anything?
Never done a podcast,
wow.
No.
No car commercials?
Can you
narrating car commercials?
You should do a car commercial. That would be awesome.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
For real.
Definitely do
For
that.
real.
Well, we need a hit. Maybe we can find a hit in the auto commercial
do like a little jingle,
realm. A
right?
jingle.
Like car commercial jingle.
Uh-huh. Can you auto tune in radio? Can you live auto tune in radio?
No, but I just imagine you narrating it. You could narrate the
I've never tried it. I mean, I read books for people.
Do you? Yeah,
I do.
There you go.
Mostly my kids.
Yeah, well, makes sense. They don't tell you they love your voice.
They've never said that. They're usually mad at me because it's bedtime, and it's like, Dad, what are you doing?
Right.
Don't put us to bed.
No, they're used to it. Used to your voice. JFed in the chat says, do you play birthday parties?
I think we have done parties.
Well, remember the time I jumped out of that cake?
Oh, I do remember that.
Oh.
Different story.
We do we do private events occasionally. Most of what we do is in support of our music, but we do private events occasionally. Yep.
So he's been asking, he's been looking for someone to play his wife's birthday party, Melanie's birthday party.
Cool.
I believe it's in September. Now, the thing is, I should tell you, though, in case you do get...
you take a commission, I know.
No, it's not that. He might try to get you to commit to, if you're going to go up there, to commit to an ice bath.
Oh.
So I thought I should mention that just to kind of warn you.
All right.
That might be part of the deal.
Okay.
And I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't do it. Hypothermia, things like that. Apparently, there are health benefits, but I'm just worried about freezing to death. So I personally wouldn't do it, but I think I should forewarn you guys.
Ice bath.
Yeah. It's something he does, and he invites people into the ice bath, apparently.
Okay.
So just something to keep in mind.
Gig/ice bath.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it could come to that. So just so you know.
We'll have to get our manager involved.
Definitely.
There you go. By the way, Miriam Banish in the chat room says, like the harmony, referring to the song that we played there, the single.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah.
What do you guys? So the vocals, do you guys all sing, or how does that work?
I definitely don't.
You don't.
Oh,
okay.
No, he's being modest. He does actually sing. In fact, we've had some gigs where he'll take the lead and do some crazy stuff. But truth be told, the harmonies are actually a very important part of our sound. And Mark and I really enjoy writing harmonies and singing harmonies, and that's something we focus on, and it's part of most of the songs that you hear.
Yeah.
From us.
No, I noticed that. But Carlo, you sing live with the guys, I assume, or
very seldom.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
I've got a lot of work to do. I'm very busy back there.
He is a busy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I had a band on recently with a singing drummer, where the drummer did the lead vocals.
Yeah.
And that's something you very rarely see.
Uh-huh.
But it's such a physical instrument, so to have to play drums and sing, even just doing backing vocals, it must be.
It's got to be hard to do.
I think it would be tough. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how they do it. They sing a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could do it.
Really?
I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
Number one, I don't think I can sing well, and but it's a lot of work, to keep focused on that, and just have the musician stuff just kind of happen automatically, so you can focus on the singing. It's quite a bit of work. It's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're quite talented, those two.
Yeah.
Anna and I just sit back and play music.
We had a show, actually. It was actually at Blue Ocean Music Hall where we featured Carlo and Anand singing.
That's right, we did.
Who was that? I think that might have been when we were with the Gin Blossoms.
Gin Blossoms, I think it was, yeah.
And actually, that was the last show where we ever allowed them to sing publicly together.
Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Yeah.
So that should tell you something there.
You guys played with the Gin Blossoms, huh?
We did a few shows with those guys.
Really? Yeah, several, yeah. I can see that. I can see that being a good,
it was a good
pairing.
fit.
Yeah,
good fit.
But I guess too, though, with your sound, I mean, there's probably a lot of different bands you fit well with. I would think, your sound it's very accessible, very radio friendly, but also there's a mix of influences in there. The song "Kids" is like I said, I opened with that today. That's so catchy. But it seems like everything is, it's very sort of, you've got those sing along choruses that really hook people in. And who can you tell me who's a band that you've are there any bands that you've opened for that were kind of maybe you went into it thinking, I don't know if we fit? Has there been any kind of an odd match that you've had with a band that you've opened for?
Well, yes, I would say so. So I think Smashing Pumpkins will be interesting because the more I listen to them, the more I realize that they're much heavier than than really we are now. Back in the day, we were writing more rock-oriented stuff, and now I kind of consider our stuff sort of indie pop.
Yeah.
And so it's veering away from that. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But, we used to occasionally play Bike Week, and we've never been a biker band, right? And we went up there thinking they're going to throw us out of here, and actually there are a lot of people that dug our stuff. So I've learned you can't make that judgment going into it. But probably the other one that was a weird fit was Jason Derulo.
Oh, no kidding! Yeah,
it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
but we were asked to come play with him, and it was just as he was like, at his prime, and it was weird, but it sort of was fine. It sort of went okay. Like,
I can see it working though.
Can you?
Yeah, because I'm trying to think now. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. What was his really big hit?
I don't even remember.
Because I think
I don't know.
He had more than one single that did well, but there was one that was huge, and I can't remember what it was now either. That he had a short shelf life. I think he had come and gone pretty quick.
He did.
But I can see that working. because again, your sound is so accessible that, obviously a lot of different kinds of people are going to like it. Is that something you do consciously, like in terms of writing and recording the music? Do you consciously try to make songs that, with good hooks and big, sort of sing-along choruses?
I think that, every songwriter probably gravitates to something. There's something that, as you're noodling around on your guitar or humming melodies or whatever it may be, there's something that catches you about it.
Yeah.
And I find for me, it's, I think I grew up listening to pop radio and, from all eras, I enjoyed all of it. And so I think those melodies stick with me. And those are the things, I find I won't write a song unless I feel like there's a catchy melody that's going to draw you in somewhere in the song. And so that's usually the basis of it. And then you try to build around it. So I guess in that sense, it is intentional.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we are approaching the end of the show. I do want to get one more song in at the end, but guys, this has been wonderful. Thank you both so much.
Thanks for having us, Matt. Yeah,
absolutely,
much appreciated.
Absolutely. And what do you want to make sure our listeners know about where to find you online, social media, anything, website?
We are everywhere. We get that question sometimes. Where can I find your music? And I think my answer is where can't you? I mean,
should be able.
We're literally on every streaming platform. We're on YouTube with the videos. We've got our website, bestnotbroken.com.
Bestnotbroken.com, yeah. That's kind of headquarters.
I'm trying to think of what else.
All the basic stuff. I mean, we're probably most active on Instagram and Facebook and that kind of stuff, and we keep updates on our
hit
website.
us up on Instagram.
Yeah.
We'd love to, have somebody, make a comment. We like responding and interacting with our fans. It's great fun for us, and if you've seen us at a show or you want to see us at a show, give us a little shout out and we'll let you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And do you have any shows coming up this weekend that you want to plug?
We're in Vermont this weekend, right?
Yeah, we're playing up in Burlington, Vermont, a place called Red Square. It's an outdoor show. Get there early because it fills up fast.
Yeah.
And especially if the weather's nice, I should say. If it's raining, doomsday.
Yeah.
But it hasn't rained much this summer, so we should be okay.
That's why Carlo is wearing his red shorts. He has these on all week, same pair. He can't take them off until the show. That's our deal.
Wow. All righty. Well, that's your business.
It is. Oh, Matt, you have to close with that, right?
Sure is.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you again so much. Mike from Queen City Cabinetry says, awesome guest today, Matt. Thank you. Guys, thank you so much. And we will end with this track. This is called Lowlights. This is kind of a little darker.
Yeah, it's a different tune. This is a Mark tune. This is one of the new singles that's coming out on our new EP.
Very good. Oh, when is that out, by the way, the EP?
Well, it was supposed to be soon, and it's been pushed back a little, but I would expect it shortly after Labor Day. So check our social media. It won't be long.
Excellent. All right, so we're going to end with this. This is, thanks again, guys. And this is Lowlights from the band Best Not Broken. Check this out.
Drink a little more. You're such a charmer.
Frankenstein, and I'm the gecko, and I like to...
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.